Hello everyone, I'm Alicia. For this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to make beaded snowflakes. I have a small, a medium, and a large. Now, the small and the medium, the centers of them are the same, but there's one point where you can just add seed beads to get the small one, or add more bicones and seed beads to get the medium-sized one. Now, the larger one, the center of it, is not the same as this. I am using more seed beads in here, and I'm also using larger bicones in this one. But basically, all three of these are made with the same technique. I'm just using different amounts of seed beads and different sizes and amounts of bicones to get my three different looks. So some of you might be wondering, how can we use these beaded snowflakes in jewelry? Well, when I designed these, I wanted to make sure that I had little holes going around the edges so I could connect them with jump rings or chain links. Now I'm probably going to use chain links because a lot of the chain out there is stronger than the jump rings. And this is one here I have in my collection. This is a Rolo chain. And because it's oval, when I go to connect these, because of how they sit against each other, it's going to fit really nice in the oval link. So it's going to lay a lot better as a bracelet or a necklace. Now, I did measure this one. It is 1 inch, so it's perfect for an earring. So you can hang the ear wire right here from the point, or you can add a little jump ring and a chain and then have the ear wire up higher, so this could be a longer dangling earring. And you can also use the two medium and the larger one for earrings also. You can also connect these together to make a bracelet and connect them together to make a necklace. So a bracelet, you can connect them like this and have your links here at the 2 points so it's more stronger. And I would probably have this one in the center and 2 medium ones here and then the smalls. I did measure this. I don't remember the exact measurement, but I knew it was short. So if I were to make a bracelet, I would probably have to have 2 small ones at the ends and then my medium, the large, medium, and then another 2 small ones. So it fits, but I don't know what the exact measurement of that is because I haven't gotten that far yet. So it's really all experimentation. So I would probably have to add a chain to get it to the right size and then have my clasp on the chain so it would fit my wrist. If I'm going to do a necklace, I would probably do it like this, where I would have 1 point connected with the links and I would have a medium over here and a small, just so it looks really dainty and pretty. So there are several different ways you can use these beaded snowflakes. It's all in the imagination of what you can think of. So I hope you guys enjoy this tutorial. And what's really neat is that if you want to do earrings, you have 3 different sizes to choose from. If you like really big earrings, you could use this one. If you like smaller earrings, this one. And if you like really tiny earrings, you can use this one. So 3 different options for the size of the earrings you want to use. So I hope you guys enjoy this tutorial. Let's do it. So to save you guys from having problems, I want to make sure you're using the right kind of seed bead for the snowflakes. I found that Czech 11-0 seed beads are best for these snowflakes. Now, Czech seed beads are flat, so they are a donut shape. They're not so round like the Japanese seed beads. So because of the flatness, it fits really nice together, just like a puzzle, in the snowflakes. So when you go to make these snowflakes, make sure you're using Czech 11-0 seed beads. And you can find the Czech seed beads at craft stores. AC Moore is one of the places I found that carries a lot of Czech seed beads. So here's the list of materials you need to make the small, medium, or the large snowflake. Now keep in mind that this is just enough materials to make one of each, so if you want to make more than one of each snowflake, you have to double your materials. So to make the small snowflake, you're going to need 24 inches of 6-pound Fireline, and you're going to leave a 6-inch tail, Czech 11-0 seed beads, 6 4mm bicone crystals, and a size 10 beading needle. I'm using the same beading needle for all 3 of these. Here's the list of materials you need to make the medium snowflake. You will need 28 inches of 6-pound Fireline, and you're also going to leave a 6-inch tail. Czech 11OC beads, 12 4mm bicone crystals. So I'm using 6 more than this one. This one has 6, this one has 12. And you're also going to need a size 10 beading needle. Here is the list of materials you need to make the large snowflake. You will need 32 inches of 6-pound Fireline, and you're also going to leave a 6-inch tail. So all 3 of these snowflakes you will leave a 6-inch tail. Czech 11OC beads, 12 4mm bicone crystals, and 6 6mm bicone crystals, and a size 10 beading needle. So I'm going to start all 3 of these snowflakes the same way, and I'm only going to film this one time, just the same time. So the first thing we have to do is pick up 12 seed beads, make sure you have 12, slide them down, and make sure you have a 6-inch tail, but we can adjust that right before we tie the knot. So I'm going to take my needle and I'm going to go back through all of these. So we have a circle of Czech 11OC beads. So see how it's forming a circle? I'm going to measure my tail, make sure it's 6 inches. Just slide it down a lot. So see, you can adjust it right before you tie the knot. Okay, so mine is 6 inches. So we made a circle, and now I'm going to tie a knot right here. So make sure it's a little snug. I'm just going to go over and under, pull it down, then I'm going to do it again, but twice. So this is a surgeon's knot. So over and under, once and twice, and pull it down. Okay, so now we should have a circle of 12 Czech 11OC beads. So all 3 of these will start just like this. So I'm just going to film this part one time. So our tail here, I am not going to cut this, because whenever you tie a knot and you cut the tail right after a knot, it's going to come undone. It will eventually. So I use my tail to hold on to my work, and later on I will stitch my tail back into my work to make the snowflake a little bit stiffer. So now I'm ready to start doing the edges of this circle. So my knot is right here, so I can't pick up any beads until I go through the first C bead. So make sure you go through the first C bead beside our knot. I'm going to wrap this around my finger here. Okay. Our thread is exiting out right here. I'm going to pick up 3 C beads, and I'm going to skip a bead and go in through the next one. Just like this. So now we have a little point here. I'm going to do it again. 3 C beads, skip a C bead, and go into the next one. Pick up 3 more, skip this C bead right here and go in through the next one. Three C beads, skip this one and go through the next. Now I have 4 points. 3 C beads, skip this one and go into the next. Now I have to make 1 more point, so I have 5, picking up 3 more. I'm going to skip this seed bead and go in through the next one. So right here is where I'm at. Pull it snug. Now that we are at this point, which already looks like a snowflake, it's really cute, we have to step up. So I'm exiting out of this seed bead, and what I have to do next is go through this seed bead and out through this seed bead. So this is the center of our snowflake, and now we're ready to add our next row. So now exiting out of this point, I'm going to pick up one seed bead, a bicone, one seed bead, and go through this seed bead. A seed bead, a bicone, and a seed bead, and go through this one. Seed bead, bicone, seed bead, go through this point. Seed bead, bicone, seed bead, through this point. Seed bead, bicone, seed bead, through this point. Seed bead, bicone, seed bead, and we have to go through this point. So this was the seed bead and bicone that I added, so make sure you don't go through that one. So right here is the one that we actually have to go through. It's our point. So going through there, now we have to step up. So from here on, you want to make sure that you don't pull it really tight, because it can cause the snowflake to warp. So going through that point, I'm now stepping up through this seed bead and through the bicone. And this is what our snowflake looks like now. So this is our second row. Now I'm making the small one, so I'm going to do our last row. So now I have to pick up 5 seed beads at a time and make our points. 5 seed beads. Exiting out of this bicone, I'm going to go through the next bicone. 5 more seed beads. Through this bicone. 5 again. This bicone. 5. The next one. 5 through this one, and we have 5 here, and I'm going to do one more. So we have 6 points. Now if you look at this, our points really aren't sticking out. So this one here, you could definitely tell that it looks like a snowflake because my points here are really pointed, but these ones here are rounded. So I'm going to show you how to fix this problem. And it's not just pulling them out, the points out, that's going to fix it. We have to go back through this a second time, and I'm actually going to be tying knots. So exiting out of this bicone here, adding those seed beads, exiting out of here, I'm going to go through these 2 seed beads. I'm going to skip over this seed bead and go through these 2. And what it's going to do is my thread is going to lay underneath this seed bead, and it's going to make it pop out. So pulling it down, just like this. See how it made it pop out, and now there's a point? So these Czech seed beads, they do have small holes, so while I'm going on the outside and doing this, I'm going to tie my knots while I'm doing this. So I have to tie my knots right before a larger bead, and that bead is my bicone. So exiting out of here, I'm going to tie a knot. I'm going to go through my loop twice, and pull it down. Pull it down slowly so it doesn't mess up. Okay, there's my knot. I'm going to go through this bicone. My knot's going to go inside there. I'm going to go through 2 more seed beads. I'm going to skip the center one and go through these 2. And sometimes the thread will want to lay on top, but you just have to pull that center seed bead up and pull your thread and it will pop out. So right before this bicone, I have to tie another knot. So make a loop and go through it twice. Pull it down. There's my knot. I'm going to go through my bicone. Now I have to go through these 2. Skip the center one. Go through these 2. Pull it so my point is there. Go through this hole again. Go through my loop twice. Make my half hitch knot. Pull it down right here. And then go through the bicone. So I go through this entire snowflake on the outside edge doing this, and I get all my points sticking out, and even after I get all my knots tied, so I have 6 knots tied, 1 under each bicone, I still go through it again just to make my snowflake stiffer. So I keep using up my tail so my snowflake is stiffer, so it will lay flat in my jewelry. So keep doing this, going through the 2 seed beads, skipping the center one, going through the 2 there, tying the knot, now you only have to tie the 6 knots under the bicones, and when you do go back around to reinforce it, don't go through this one. Leave that sticking out. So keep following your same path of going through the 2, skipping the center, and going through the 2 when you go back through to reinforce it after you've already tied knots. And with our tail thread, I'm also going to put my needle back onto this thread and go back through the snowflake and reinforce it too, so it stays nice and flat. And you don't have to tie more knots with your tail thread, because when you are going back through making more passes, it's gonna be strong because it's round, it's all compact. So you don't have to tie any more knots with your tail thread. You just need to put it on your needle and go back through in a circle and reinforce it. But once you put your needle on the tail thread, you have to follow the points path. So you can't go through the 12 in the center. Put your needle on your thread, go through this one, and go through the points here like this. Through the points, you know what I mean, through the points like we did at the very beginning. So go ahead and do that, and then once you're done doing that, I'm going to move on to our medium snowflake. So now I'm going to show you how to make the medium one. So go ahead and make your circle like I showed before, and my thread is exiting out right here where I tied the knot. I'm going to take my needle and pass through 1 seed bead, and now I'm going to pick up 3 seed beads, skip a seed bead, and go through the next, just like this. 3 seed beads, skip 1, and go through the next. 3 seed beads, skip 1, and go through the next. Now I have 3 points. 3 seed beads, skip one and go through the next. 3 seed beads, skip one and go through the next. So that's 5 points, and now I have to make my 6. So 3 more, and I'm going to skip this bead right here, and I have to go through this one. So the center of this part right here is the same as the first one I just did. So exiting out of this seed bead, I have to step up, so I have to go through these two. And my thread got caught. So just like this. So let me show you. This center is the same as our small one. So now I have to pick up seed bead, bicone, seed bead, and go through the points. Seed bead, bicone, seed bead, through this point. Seed bead, bicone, seed bead, this one. Seed bead, bicone, seed bead, through this one. Seed bead, oops, bicone, seed bead, through this one. Seed bead, bicone, seed bead, and again on the other one you have to pay attention that you're going to go through the right one. So this one here was the one I added with my bicone, so I have to go through this point right here, and then I'm going to step up and go through this seed bead and the bicone. So you should have this, and don't pull it too tight because it will warp. And now I'm going to add another row. So again, seed bead, bicone, seed bead. So in our small snowflake, at this point I would have been adding the 5 seed beads to get our points, but in this one I'm adding bicones instead. So 1 seed bead, 1 bicone, and a seed bead, and we're going through this bicone. Seed bead, bicone, seed bead, seed bead, bicone, seed bead, through the point, seed bead, bicone, seed bead, seed bead, bicone, seed bead, and through this bicone. So now we have to step up, and to do that I'm exiting out of this bicone. I have to go through this seed bead and through this bicone. And now you should have this. Now I'm going to pick up seed beads around the edge of this. So in the medium one I'm going to pick up 7 seed beads on the edges, and if you remember, in our small one we did 5, so it has to be an odd number. So exiting out of this bicone, I'm going to pick up 7 seed beads, exiting out the bicone, I'm going to go in through the next one, pick up 7 again, go through the next bicone, 7 again, go through this one, 7 again, through this one, 7 again, through this bicone. So now I have 5 of them on, and I have to add one more. 7 seed beads one more time, and through this bicone. So now we're back at the part where in the first one we made, how our points here are not pointed, they're actually rounded. So in order to fix that, what we have to do is go through 3 seed beads, exiting out this bicone, through 3 seed beads, skip the center seed bead, and go through the other 3, and not the bicone. Just like this. And now we have to tie our knot. So I'm going to take my needle, go through this hole, make a loop, and go through this loop twice. Pull it down, and go through the bicone. And pull the knot into the bicone. So now I have to go through 3 more seed beads, skip the middle one, and go through these 3. Make sure that that seed bead gets popped into place. I have to tie a knot right here, so through this hole, make a loop, go through it twice, go through the bicone, go through 3 more seed beads, skip the center one, and tie another knot. So you're going to be doing this repeatedly, just like we did on the first one. So make sure that you do watch where I made the first one. If you are making the medium one and you haven't seen how I did the first one, please watch the first one, because in there I do explain how to do this. So keep on going, doing your points until they're all sticking out. And once you get to the end, if you do like 5 points, it might look like your 6th one's already done, because it could look like that. But if you pull it with your fingernail, you can see that there's only 1 thread there. So make sure that you do all 6 points and not just like 5 or 4 of them. And tie your knots in between each point in that bicone, and reinforce it. Don't only tie 6 knots, but once you're done tying those 6 knots, you need to keep reinforcing it till you run out of thread. Then trim your thread, and then put your tail thread on your needle and go back through this part here and reinforce that, just so our snowflake is stiff, because right now it is very flexible. So we need it to be a lot stiffer. So keep going, tying your knots and reinforcing your snowflake. So now I'm going to show you how to make the biggest snowflake. I already went ahead and made my circle of 12 seed beads, and my knot is right here. So I have to run my needle through the first seed bead in the circle. And this time, instead of picking up 3 seed beads, I'm going to pick up 5 for my points. So 5 seed beads, skip a bead, and I'm going to go through the next one. So skipping over 1, I'm going in through this one. So my points are going to be bigger. 5 seed beads again. Skipping that seed bead and going through the next one. 5 seed beads again. skipping this one and going through the next. So now we have 3 points, 5 seed beads, skipping this seed bead. I'm going to go through the one beside it. Now we have 4 points, picking up 5 seed beads again. I'm going to go through, skip this one and go through this one. Now I have to add my last point, so 5 seed beads, skip this seed bead and go through this one, just like this. Now I have my 6 points and I'm gonna have to step up. So out of this seed bead I have to go through these 2 and through this one. So now you should have this, and you kind of want to straighten it out a little bit because some of the points might be crooked. Okay, so now I'm going to add I'm going to do the small crystals. So I'm going to pick up 1 crystal, 1 seed bead, 1 crystal. I'll flip this over, and I'm going to go through this point. Crystal, seed bead, crystal, this one, crystal, seed bead, crystal, into this one, crystal, seed bead, crystal, crystal, seed bead, crystal to this point here, and I'm going to do my last 2 4mm crystals. So crystal, seed bead, crystal. And I did forget to mention that I'm using the 4mm, not the 6mm. So 4mm crystals all the way around here. I picked up 4mm crystal, seed bead, and another crystal, and now I have to go through this point, pull that through, and now I have to step up. So I have to go through this crystal and also through that seed bead. So this is what your snowflake should look like right now. So now I'm going to use the 6mm crystals. So the last row we did was the 4mm crystals, and in between each crystal we picked up a seed bead. These seed beads right here are going to be our points. So exiting out of this point here, I'm going to pick up 2 seed beads, a 6mm crystal, and 2 seed beads. Coming out of here, I'm going to go through this point. 2 seed beads, a crystal, and 2 seed beads. Now I have to go through my next point right here. Picking up 2 seed beads, a crystal, and 2 seed beads. I'm going to go through this point. Two seed beads, a crystal, and 2 seed beads. And now I have to go through this point. Again, 2 seed beads, a crystal, and 2 seed beads. And through this one. 2 seed beads, a crystal, and 2 seed beads. And now I'm going through this point here. So now after going through that point, we have to step up so we can add our last row. So now I have to go through these 2 seed beads and through the large 6mm crystal. Now you should have this, and we're ready to add our last row. Our last row is going to be 7 seed beads. So pick up your 7, 6, 7. Exiting out of this bicone, the 6mm, I'm going to go through the next 6mm. Pick up 7 again, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I'm going to go through this 6mm bicone. Pick up 7 again. And go through the next crystal. 7 again. And through the next one. 7 again. And through this one. And 7 one more time. And through the last one. And now you should have this. So just like we did on our last snowflake, we have to make our little points stand out because right now they're just rounded. So just like we did on these, I'm going to go through 3 of the seed beads, skipping the one in the center, and going through the other 3, making that point just like this. And now I have to tie a knot, so put the needle through this hole and make a loop, go through here twice and pull it down, and then take the needle through the crystal. Again, through these 3 seed beads, skipping the center one, going through these 3, making that seed bead stand out. So you have 2 points now. Now I have to tie another knot. Through this hole, make a loop, through the loop twice, bring the knot down, and go through the crystal. So I'm going to show you again through these 3 seed beads, skip the center and through these 3, make that center one pop out. It seems to fuss more on the big snowflake than the smaller ones. The smaller ones, the seed bead kind of pops right back out on itself, but this one you have to get it to come out. So after that, you have to tie a knot before you go through your bicone. Pull it down and go through the bicone to hide your knot. So keep doing this just like we did on the other ones, where I kept going through these, making the points stand out, and once you go through all the 6 points and they're all standing out, and you have 1 knot under each bicone, so you should have 6 knots, keep going and reinforcing your snowflake so it lies flat. So what I do is I pretty much use up all my thread, and I just keep sliding my needle down my tail, and I go through all these beads here. Now if it starts getting tight going through the edge, you just go through one of these bicones and you start going through these seed beads here on this edge. That's what I do. And then once you go through these a few times and your snowflake is getting stiffer, take and put your needle on your tail and go through these. And remember, don't go through the center 12, go through the points. So my threads here, so I would go up through this seed bead, through this point, through this seed bead, through this point, so follow those paths. And then if it starts getting tight, then when you get to one of these points, go through the 4mm bicones. And again, doing this is reinforcing your snowflake so it's much stiffer, so it's not so flexible, which the outer edge is feeling a lot stiffer, but I will have to reinforce that because I can definitely feel that it's really soft right now. So keep doing this, tying your knots and reinforcing your snowflakes. So this is my finished piece. I was going to do just the snowflakes, but then I found this crystal in my box and I really like how it looked in this. So I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. Please like this video, leave me a comment, subscribe if you want to see more videos, and follow me on Facebook. And don't forget to share pictures of the things you've made from my videos. I love seeing those pictures. And thanks for watching.